Welcome to the Pish Tosh Podcast with Emma Red March Rose.
Thank you for listening as I share my interviews with students of the performing arts.
Hey, you want to hear some facts about a group or a team or some one-man acts? Things like leprechaun, cereal, all kinds of other weekly new material, how gingers are inferior, and strategies to fix your brain's interior. Things like pogo sticks, politics, heretics, lucky tricks, topic picks, and ass kicks. An awkward middle name guessing game. Enjoy the show, I'm glad you came. We're striving, conniving, surviving, and high-fiving. We're talking wins and losses. We're feeling like we're bosses. Better buckle up, be cautious, because this might just make you feel solace, or thoughtless, or flawless, or nauseous. A relief for the typecast, a remedy for the overcast, a reward for the steadfast. This is the Pish Tosh Podcast.
Hello, my wonderful listeners. Today I would like to introduce my, guest to the Pish Tosh Podcast. Her name is Margaux Lantelme, and she has been in Improv for Actors with me from the very beginning, and now the two of us are moving on into the conservatory program. I hope you guys enjoy our interview. Thanks so much for listening.
I took it too far.
Oh my God, that's a great place to start.
Were you already recording that?
No.
Okay.
Would you like to repeat yourself?
If you like me to. I have no problem. I prefer it that way.
Yeah? I was wondering if you'd say it again. Oh, I should have started earlier. Uncut. Live uncut.
Uncircumcised edition.
Nice. Oh, yes. Oh, I love it when we need the explicit warning immediately.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do it, we should go for it all the way.
I don't
the
want
whole
to trick
way.
anyone. Mm-mm. I'm not teasing anybody about what this podcast is.
We're not appropriate people.
No.
Why pretend?
No. Nor are we marathon runners.
No.
We're here at Second
We
City
were
right
for a
now.
moment. Both of us.
We were!
We were for about, I want to say 3-4 seconds. It took me to cross the road.
Yes!
We ran the Chicago Marathon today, both of us, and we still showed up on time to class.
We did. I ran probably about 6, maybe even 12, maybe twice that, maybe 12 feet.
Wow.
Of the Chicago Marathon.
Yeah.
Wow. We're so proud of ourselves.
Are we going to get a medal? Are they going
#athletic
to mail us a medal?
# all the miles. Yes. Yes, I hope so.
There were lots of people with their signs out. It was fun. I was like,
you know what I say?
Ooh, but also I didn't cheer because I was like, I'm on my way to this.
Yes, I was cheering to not get hit by a car. Or a runner.
Right.
Yeah. Or a running car. It was, signs, people running.
Dogs.
Signs out, gines out. That's what I say. Oh, that's a good time.
I love that.
now to the introduction part. Let me get all the marathon nonsense out of the way. I'm gonna throw the phone. I'm gonna put this right here.
Yeah.
For our listeners, this is going right here.
Mm-hmm. They know everything that's happening. They know the full setup.
So I have here Margaux. Don't tell me. Margaux, and I'm staring at it if that makes you feel better. Lantelme.
Lantelme.
Dang it!
It's
that
good.
Makes more sense.
No one knows. Everyone wants to make it more complicated, both of my first and last name, than it actually is. Margaux Lantelme. There we go.
Oh my God! That's a very French name.
Yes.
You're a very French young lady.
Yeah, I am.
And you work at a very French school.
I do.
That's wonderful. A VFS, if you will. A very French school.
Oh, yes. I was like, what's that?
VFS
Yeah,
Academy.
VFS. Le VFS de Chicago.
Do you have a favorite French word?
Oh, that's a good question that I didn't prepare for.
Oh, good. That's how I like it.
Surprise. Favorite French word. I mean, bordel is nice. I like that. It's kind of like when there's a big mess. It's not full-on swear word, but it's kind of like...
Like the phrase, the shit hit the fan, but in one word?
Kind of. It's like a shit show. If you walk in and kids have made a bordel everywhere, it's the whole room is just kind of diarrhea.
Can
or
you
whatever.
do that? Yes. Can you do that with a situation? This situation is.
Bordel.
Yeah.
Bordelique is you can make it an adjective.
Yes.
Or I guess a noun. Don't talk to me about grammar. Let's.
Oh, that's okay. No. How do you So let me backtrack a little bit more. Margaux and I are in Improv for Actors 1 and 2.
Yes.
We were in both of them. Now we're in 2. We were in this. No, you went early for our conservatory auditions.
We auditioned not together, but together.
Yeah, same day
in spirit.
Jinx. I spit a lot. I'm so excited about that, Jinx. Jinx. Oh, yes.
And then we're both in the conservatory, but not in the same class.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
Yes. Warriors. No, I'm just kidding. Now the fight begins. No, I don't think it's a super competitive
Which
thing.
class is going to be the winner?
Yeah. We're just trying to make each other laugh and stuff. And I don't think it's...
I wonder whenever we have the performances, if we'll be performing together since we'll both be in the same level.
Hope so.
I think so. I mean, not like together, but on the same night. Yeah.
Same show or maybe
I think so, because I think you start with like just like a 15-minute little set, like really short set in level 1 or 2 or something like that, with like all of the classes, I think. So it's like I don't know.
That does make sense. I hope so, because we're in different ones. You're on Sundays, right?
Yeah, and you're on Thursday nights?
Dumb. Yeah. I'm so mad. I was like, why did I do Thursdays? But you know what? If I'm going to be honest, I haven't told anyone this, because I'm like, why did I do Thursdays? I really did Thursdays because I really like playing bingo with my aunt on Sundays.
Oh, that's funny.
I know.
Does she play bingo at noon? When does she play bingo?
She does at noon. And it did take me like an hour and a half to get there every time, but I'm like committed now.
That's fun. Are there prizes though?
Yes. It's
good.
Cash prizes, and it's shockingly
tasty.
fun. Like I'm in there with a bunch of elderly women that are vicious.
That sounds really fun. Where is this?
And I eat popcorn. My aunt buys me a little bit of popcorn, and she buys me a little soda. And I get to go with her.
That's
and I
amazing.
carry her purse. It's a good time. It's way out, Belvedere way.
Is that a suburb?
Sort of, but farther.
Okay, but like it's out in Illinois.
Yes, it's out in the bubble of Chicago, which is an amazing ecosystem. I've learned.
Yeah.
Chicago itself, the city. It's weird. It's like being in somewhere else.
Like that's not Illinois?
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like the rest of Illinois.
No.
Like I feel like if you're in a big city like LA or New York, that vibe kind of continues into more of the rest of the state. Not all of it. There's rural stuff. But Chicago is like...
pretty severe.
Yeah, like the rest of Illinois I feel like is totally different than Chicago.
It's like you go an hour
like you're out in
the barns
farm.
and fields.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So have you been in Chicago long?
It's been like 3 years now, but I would always visit a lot throughout my life. So my mom, her whole family is American. Well, so her parents, my grandmother, maternal grandmother is Cuban, and
I thought you
grandfather.
said you didn't want me to talk about your grandma.
I only want to talk about my grandmas.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
And then my grandpa on my mom's side is Italian.
Very cool.
So
what was his name, if you don't mind me asking?
His name is Hank. I think it was
a traditionally Italian name.
Yeah, it's Henry, but he changed it to Hank because I don't know. I guess he doesn't like Henry.
Oh,
I don't know.
Name.
but or it's Hank is the nickname for Henry. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah. So he's Hank, and Emma is my grandma.
Oh, my grandma's named Emma too.
Oh yeah? Nice. All the Emmas.
Well, she's in heaven or whatever.
Were you named after her?
Yeah, she was born way before me.
Well, obviously. I just mean, like, were you named specifically after your grandma?
I think I was, yes.
You got your name after she did.
I did. That's awesome.
Yeah, so Cuban, my grandma immigrated to America when she was, like, 18 during the whole, like, situation in Cuba with like Castro and all of that.
Yeah.
So she came when she was like 18 to Miami and grew up there. Mm-hmm. My grandpa, his parents, I believe, are the ones that immigrated from Italy, if not his grandparents. But all of my family came to America like recently. Like none of our ancestors were here for a long time. Like you can definitely trace like, okay, 100 years ago, none of us were in this country. We were in France, we were in Cuba, we were in Italy.
That's so exciting. What strong, brave people it takes to go to an entire different country. It's like I've moved states and I'm like, whole new world.
Yeah,
no, that's
different
insane.
time too. I mean, especially,
awesome.
I don't know what caused them to leave Italy, but they did. But then Cuba, it was like a revolution and like,
Wow.
She left with like nothing and
Oh my gosh,
had to start over here with her whole family. But yeah, they're
incredible.
strong, and they are architects, or now they're retired, but they were very successful architects living in New York City for a while.
Exciting.
And then, so my mom grew up in Wisconsin. They worked, excuse me, did you hear that burp? I'm just kidding.
For those in the back. And a second.
Yeah, so they
We're
grew up
getting
in
too serious for a
Madison. They grew up in Madison, so they were working there for a long time, and like since they were architects, they always like designed the houses they were living in, beautiful houses. And then for my dad's side, they're all in France still. My dad moved to Madison, where he met my mom when he was, I don't even know, I mean like in his 20s. He was coming to America to teach, because he has worked in like university settings all his life basically. Before that, I think he taught high school for a little bit, but
Awesome.
Teaches at the university level. So then they met, and then they had me and my brother, and divorced a little bit after.
What happened?
Yeah.
Just the two siblings you have?
Well, no, me and my brother. So two children,
sorry,
one
yes,
sibling.
yes.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, his name is Nico. He's 5 years younger than me.
Oh, Nico, what a sweet name.
Yeah.
Also,
Nicholas, but Nico.
Nico. Oh,
we
that's
always
adorable.
called him that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where does the French come in? Is there French in your heritage?
Yeah. So my whole dad's side is from France.
Okay.
We're from, so like way back in the day, we're from kind of like the Alps, basically, is kind of like the root of the Lantelme family.
I see now in your hair. Two lovely braids.
French braids.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Yes.
Can't wait for winter when I whip out my berets. I love
your
berets.
yodeling voice.
Oh.
Can you yodel? Have you ever tried?
I mean, around the house a little bit.
Yeah, like when you see a bug or something.
Yes, definitely when I see a bug, it'll yodel.
Would you like to try to yodel?
Is it going to be too loud?
Maybe.
Yodel, yodel.
Too loud for Lucy. I'm just kidding.
No, but anyway, yeah, so the Alps, and then like after those people were born and kind of expanded their place, we're basically from like the Mediterranean. Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur is like the region of France, so it's basically the whole like southeastern, I always get east and west confused, southeastern part of the country between the Alps and the Mediterranean, kind of right there.
Nice.
So Aix-en-Provence is like where I grew up, and like where we have an apartment, and my dad's living right now, and yeah, I love it.
Wait, what? Your dad still lives there?
Yeah, so my dad, he moved back to France
Oh, wow.
a few years ago now. So he was, in Oklahoma, where we were working at the university, where my mom still works. And then after a while, was just like, I hate Oklahoma and I love France, so I'm going to go back. That's where my family is, my mom, all
And
that
that's
stuff.
neat because you probably get to visit and.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up all my life going there, like every
Yeah.
summer, and then a few times we had like a whole 9 months there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. I loved being able to grow up with like two cultures
Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh.
traveling and all
so
that
valuable.
stuff. It is very,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Gosh. Sorry, I'm just enchanted by that. Even just hearing you say French words, it just sounds lovely. I just can't imagine. I mean,
Thanks.
I'm imagining it right now.
yeah, it's fun. So I'm going to go back again next summer for the European Cup of football.
Ooh,
Because
that sounds like fun.
It's
God, I
the
love that.
most fucking fun ever. Because it's like,
Wow.
okay, so
Have you gone to a lot of? I should say.
So
football.
I don't go to the games very much. I've been to one, I think, because they're really expensive. But honestly, it's more fun just either having a party at home and watching it, or at the bars. What's amazing about it, especially whenever you get really far as a team, is the entire country is watching. There's this video I'll show you later.
Yes.
That is just so quintessential. It's just literally everybody is screaming and cheering. It's a really cool unifier.
Yeah.
So I always have loved Les Bleus and watching soccer in France because it's just really fun.
That's awesome.
As a kid, we almost won the 2006 World Cup. We lost to Italy, unfortunately.
Aw.
Those damn Italians.
Damn. Tonys.
But I like saw people like jumping into the fountain and like dancing in the fountain.
My
so
God.
ever since like when we got kind of
joy.
far, and so yeah, ever since I was a kid, I was like, I have to get to like dance in a fountain after a game, and I did when we won. Or no, we didn't win that European Cup, the last one, but we got pretty far, so I got to dance. And then last year,
Check that off the list.
we won the World Cup. Was it last year or was it the year before? It was last year. Last summer. Not this past summer, the one before that.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. I unfortunately I wasn't in France for that, but I was here in Chicago, and I like looked up all the bars that were going to show it.
Great.
Let me tell you, I was so damn excited and happy and like blissed that we won. We were at a bar downtown, me and my boyfriend, and I think it was one of my friends, maybe two. I was drunk, so I don't remember who all came.
Yes.
But I was so happy, and I was so much like singing and dancing and jumping up and down that like on our way out, I literally threw up in the corner of the bar.
Oh,
like,
that's the best feeling.
in like
when you're
total,
so excited.
I
that
was
you throw up.
I was so happy, and I had jumped so much and drinking so many mimosas. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna barf, but I'm too happy to do anything about it. And so I like kind of walked over to this corner, and I like threw up like in my hands.
Oh my God, just
and
threw
like
it in the air.
and like no one
So
saw.
funny.
Amazingly, my friend saw it happen, and she saw like people walking by that just didn't look and didn't see. I felt so bad, but I just like took a napkin off the table and kind of wiped my hands and like threw it over the vomit on the floor and like left, because I'm like, I'm not gonna. I don't know what to do.
You got stuff to do.
I gotta go running in the streets with my French flag.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'll always remember it.
We'll always have Paris.
Always.
But what was the bar named?
You know, that's a good. Okay, so.
I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the
No,
spot
it's okay.
here.
It's okay. There were a few downtown.
Is
There were
that
two
one
that
bar
were close.
downtown?
Yes, there were two that were really close to each other. We went to that first one, which I think is Fado Irish Pub. But that one was like full, so we're like, shit,
Full
we
of
gotta
vomit.
probably. But it was full.
not
It was
happy
like there was like a
customers.
line out the door, and so we're like, we can't miss a minute of this game, so
No.
we're gonna run to the one down the block. And that one, I don't remember what it's called. It's another like Irishy type sports pub bar. It had 2 stories.
Very cool.
And we were on the top, and then I threw up, and then we partied, and everyone was happy.
Nice.
Except for whoever we beat. I don't remember.
A good time was had.
I don't remember who we played against. Clearly, I need to. My memory is like.
No, it's okay. Actually, at the end of the show, I do like a little reference section and corrections. So I'll go back and kind of like review and see like where I can kind of elaborate and stuff and fix some things. Because I'm always saying stuff that I'm just like, later I'm like, oh, that was just a downright lie.
Yeah.
I don't know any better. Ignorance.
Yeah.
It's
That's
an
what the
excuse
show's
for the
about.
law.
Is
Yes.
lying.
Yeah, absolutely. Why would I call it this if I wasn't? I think it's called Pish Tosh. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. I figured it out. Speaking of Pish Tosh, I think we're going to take a little commercial break if you're down for that.
Yeah.
Sweet! We'll be right back. Or, you know that thing that, what's her face does? The, oh, grrr.
Oh yeah. Oh, Cardi B.
Yeah, Cardi B. I'm going to throw my boyfriend under the bus real quick because he did that yesterday and I'm still laughing about it. He tried to do it, but it was the slowest,
It was so bad.
slowest oh, Kurt ever. He was like, oh, Kurt. I just died. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, commercial. Oh, commercial.
Calling all strong, independent, smelly, inspirational men to try Maximilian's new masculine hygiene products for men. Do you want to feel like Maximilian Bucks? Then try Maximilian's masculine products for men. Do you want to take your hygiene to the max? Try Maximilian's masculine hygiene for men. Do you want to feel your freshest no matter what day of the month it is? Maximilian's masculine products for men.
That was so funny.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, I know. Improv. That's great. Oh, man. That's really bad. Oh, man. That was a good way to start it. Yes. I just got owned. Margaux. This is her show now. Legally, I have
Pish
to hand
Tosh
it to her.
Podcast with only Margaux from now on.
Only Margaux. That'll be your band.
Emma, you're my guest. Tell
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
You don't have a long list of questions prepared in your long notes that have been
I can
typed
come up
like
with
I
some. Yeah.
do? See all my notes?
Yeah. So many pages.
Very good. That was like a very French flipping. So, you're in a comedy training center.
I am.
Did you do a lot of comedy as a child?
I'd like to think
purpose?
I was comedic as a child.
Nice.
I liked to make people laugh. I've always been into film and acting and art and like all that jazz business.
Yes.
There it is.
That jazz.
That was a jazz solo that I just performed.
That was beautiful.
Thank
Ooh,
you.
Margaux on the horn.
Yes. What was I saying? Oh yeah, comedy. So I didn't like study comedy specifically, and in college we didn't have a lot of comedic classes even that were like specifically focused on comedy, but I think it was 2015 I did a summer immersion of improv and writing here at the Second City.
Oh, awesome.
And so that's kind of when I started like focusing on comedy more and actually like being in classes that were specifically comedy
Like
focused.
taking it more seriously at that point. Oh,
Taking
cool.
comedy so seriously.
Yes, which you have to do.
You must.
Yes.
It's such a
Serious
high
thing.
art.
Oh, courage. Have you, how long is the immersive class? I've never
So
taken one like
it's
that. That's
in the
interesting.
summer, it's like 1 week per kind of level.
Oh, cool.
So it goes through like level
fast-paced.
A in like a week, and then level.
Wow.
I think that's how it works. It's been a minute. It's
Yeah,
been
no,
a few
look it up.
years.
I'll glance at it. See which
Yeah,
one.
correct this later.
Margaux's
so I
name
did.
is actually spelled. No.
So it was like improv in the morning from like, I don't know, the first half of the day, and then writing afternoon for like several hours. So it was like I think it was like 5 hours or something like that.
wow.
So
This is more like
or 4 hours. So it was like a full day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like that week, and I did 2 weeks. So I did improv 1 and 2 and writing 1 and 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you did that in 2015. Did you?
I think it was 2015. Yeah.
2015. Did you take any classes in between that and IFA 1?
No, not here. I was in college in that time, and so I,
French studies? What did you? What
I
was
studied
your major?
acting.
You studied acting in
yeah.
college. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So what school did you go to for acting?
I went to, bleep this out, the University of Oklahoma.
Exciting! Isn't
No, it
that
was
where
terrible.
The wind comes sweeping through the plane?
It is, but the school was a shit show. There was like a lot of really terrible experiences that myself and my peers had. The faculty was just like, the director of the program at the time, who's no longer the director but still works there, was a terrible human.
If it makes you feel better, I went to community college, and literally last night, one of my teachers asked me for nudes. And I was like, what?
What the
Yeah.
fuck? That's disgusting.
Disappointing.
That's so sick. You should take a screenshot of that and send it to like the HR or like the
I don't
board
think he
of.
even works there anymore. I don't think he works with.
Because I'm honestly all about dismantling people in power and taking down the like nasties
Interesting.
from academia and such. But anyway, yeah. So there was University of Oklahoma in Norman. I went there because, we lived there. My parents worked at the university, and so I didn't have to, I lived at home, and I got like a lot of scholarships for being in-state, and so it was like the cheapest education I could get that was still like a good education. I mean, I did learn, and not all of the teachers were bad. I had some wonderful ones that I really enjoyed.
Okay.
And I met a lot of friends there. So, I mean, if it was all bad, I would have dropped out and like gone somewhere else.
That's good.
But it was bad enough that I don't recommend it to people and that I don't speak fondly of it, just because, I mean, literally, we don't have to get into it, but there was like sexual harassment scandals and like really bad stuff happening. That was really disgusting to me and disappointing that whenever I went to the administration to talk to them about it, they basically just blew me off and were like,
Gosh.
too bad, so sad, we're not going to do anything about it.
That's so depressing.
So it was disgusting to me.
Yeah.
And so I just like left and I was like, fuck you guys and your whole system. It's stupid.
Yeah, that's
And there's that.
ridiculous.
So
Darn.
yeah, that's
So,
how I
you
feel
were,
about
like, done
them.
with that.
Yeah,
That
I was
makes
like,
sense.
get me
That's
out
a
of
good
here.
idea.
And it was just like, it's just disappointing when, and the idea that I have, and part of why I didn't kind of like transfer to another school is, I think that's kind of how it is in all academia. It's like there are people in positions of power and they're going to, they can abuse it, and so then they do, and like, just disappointing. So I was like, I'm just gonna finish this degree because apparently we all need degrees to be like
human beings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so once I'm done, then I'm done and I'm out. But I still have goddamn stress dreams of like, oh, I have to go perform, but I don't know any of my lines because it's been 2 years since we've rehearsed. Or like, I need to graduate, but there's this one class that I forgot to attend. Like, I'm still having school-related stress dreams, and I wake up, I'm like, this isn't my life anymore. Why am I still dreaming about this?
Gosh, I do that I used to work in a restaurant for years. Sometimes I'll dream that I'm there.
Yeah, it just doesn't go away. I'm just glad that when I wake up, I'm like, okay, I don't have a test to take ever again. Because I'm never going to school again, except for when I go to work, because I work at a school.
And conservatory. And never going to school again, except tomorrow, because it's Monday. We have class. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, get away from that.
Yeah.
Oh. And you've been enjoying the IFA, the Improv for Actors?
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's like a great step for like a career path, but it's also just fun. Like, I just enjoy my Sundays. I have Sunday off, but I have class, and like I go and like laugh with you guys for 3 hours.
Joy.
And it's like just happy. And like, I don't know, whenever they ask like, what do you want to get out of this? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to get a job. Yeah, I'd like to be hired as a comedian on a sketch show or something. But honestly, I just kind of like having one day a week where I just like, it's light and we laugh and it's not too serious and it's just fun.
Absolutely. Oh, so do you have any like big goals in mind? We kind of talked about this a little bit last week. The teacher, we had a substitute, and he was just like, what are you here for? Kind of thing. It was cool. Yeah, he was cool. I mean, I would like to do sometime, it's something I've been wanting to write for like 1 or 2 years at this point, a sketch comedy show to put on like YouTube, and hopefully, like it'd be cool if it got picked up by a network or something like that. But I haven't even started writing because I don't know, it's hard to sit down and write. It really is.
Especially if you're out of practice.
Yes, it is.
So I've been trying to get like the juices flowing by getting back into performing regularly, and now we're going to do this conservatory, and so hopefully I'll be able to kind of just like start to write. I also, I've written some plays in the past. My freshman year of college, one of my best friends and I, we wrote a show together and directed it and had it produced by like a community theater, and it was awesome. Nice. I loved it.
That is fantastic.
But like as far as the writing went, like she did a good kind of, like she did better at laying out the base and kind of getting it started, and I was better at like putting in specifics. Yeah, so it's hard for me to kind of start with like a base and just write, even if it's not good. I like have lots of little like one-liners and jokes written down, but I don't know how to like put them together into like a cohesive story yet, so I'm working on that.
That's the really neat thing about different writer styles and why it's so valuable to have like a writing group.
Like, working together on it.
I've never really had that, so I'm not really speaking from a lot of experience, but I've recently, actually my friend CJ and I, he's on the podcast sometimes, have decided every Tuesday we're going to send each other at least 5 like prompts. Pretty much, and then we're gonna pick out what we want to explore, because I feel like you're right, like the motivation is just sitting down and
just
starting.
Like prompted, or like that's why I did like the class that I took here in that immersion several years ago, because I think we started with just like 5 to 10 minutes of like, I don't know what, I forgot the word they used, but like quick writing or whatever, where it's just like you're gonna write nonstop. It doesn't matter if you're writing what you ate for breakfast or if you're coming up with a fictional story, like just stream of consciousness, that's what it is. To just write, or like they'll give us a word and it's like, okay, banana, now just write something for 5 minutes that starts with a banana. And like having an assignment, like having to have a script, like having a deadline really helps motivate me.
Me too, and I cannot set those for myself.
I know.
I keep trying.
Exactly, because you can just be to yourself like, hey, you set that deadline, you can move it.
Exactly.
Like,
who's gonna be mad? You?
Exactly.
What, are you gonna disappoint yourself for the first time? No. Yes. So, and it's funny too, because you kind of try to trick yourself. I mean, I don't know if you do this, but I do. I try to trick myself in all these different ways to get myself to sit down and write. Because right now, that's like a big part of what I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to work on illustrated like memoirs.
Illustrated? Yes. That's fun.
So it's kind of like comic book style, comic book size books, a trilogy of basically the process of getting the octopus tattoo. I don't know if you had.
Oh yeah.
And so it's
that sounds
like
fun.
journey.
So it's like all the travels and stuff.
Yes, and so I'm wanting to work on that. It's a little like dark, but it's it's hard to sit and write it, and it's hard to write about your own life. I think if I sat and
that's
wrote
also
more creatively, I would.
Yeah, and like the sketch show that I want to do is, obviously it's easiest to write about your own experiences, and like the central character is
both.
Yeah, exactly.
On the emotions that are attached to it.
Yeah, because it's like those are the ideas that I come up with, but then it's like I don't know how to separate them enough to write them down.
Yes. And with improv, a lot of times I'm pulling from real experience.
Yeah,
and
well, it's easy because that's where
that's
where the specificity comes from.
Right.
Is something you've specifically experienced. Yes. Like you can't really come up with that really good specificity if it's not something that you.
It's not genuine.
Yeah.
And it's like comes off that way. People can tell that it's like it's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You heard this secondhand of somebody else say this or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. So have you? So you haven't started writing it, or maybe you started a couple times?
I have like I said, I have like pages and notes and a bunch of different books and phone and shit of like ideas, and I have like an episode like breakdown of like these are like the things that are gonna happen, but I haven't like written dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I have like a few like, oh, this would be like a funny little moment or like exchange or like that line is good, but it's like all scattered and you need to like puzzle it together.
Yeah. Man, that's exciting. That sounds good. It's like that feels like a good like thing to have as a purpose right now too.
Yeah, but it's not something I've been focusing a lot on. It's like, but it's something that's there that I'd like to work on.
Definitely. I don't know if you've looked into. Have you read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
Mm-mm.
It's really good. I'm probably a nerd for. Well, I'm a nerd for all books because I was a librarian, but I have listened to a lot of like self-help type books, quote unquote, and I just love them though. I mean, because you can find some really good ones that like cut straight to the shit, and you're like, I did not think of that way. And as we're talking, I thought of Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott, who somebody from one of my writing classes suggested, and it talks a lot about how to get past writer's block and how to be motivated and how to keep to it and how to get to a finished product and everything, and like kind of helps you explore whether you are a writer or not, which is what I liked about it. But just now I was thinking of the 7 Habits because it talks about the 4 quadrants, and I'll probably define this better in the reference section. But basically I'm going to focus on 2 is like, it focuses on important versus urgent. So I don't know if you thought about that concept much, but it's almost like your show that you're telling me about, what I'm hearing is that's like a super important thing, but it's not urgent. There's no, like we said, there's no deadline, there's no timeline that you need to get it done by, and so it's so easy for the important things not to become like totally on the front burner. But it's important, and so it's I guess the book kind of talks about balance, about like, you have to do the urgent things, but really you have to also focus on hacking away at the important things, or else they're never going to get done. They're just going to get overshadowed by like, I got to clean the cat box, or I got to do this, or I got to go to work, or blah, blah, blah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, and it's, I'm saying this, but it's tough. It still doesn't make it, easy. Yeah. Writing, man, that's a cool thing to focus on. And so you're working. How long have you been working at the French school? Just like a month. So I was working at Urban Kayaks all summer. Nice. That's so cool. Yeah, that was super fun. Yeah. It's awesome. If you haven't been to Urban Kayaks in Chicago, I recommend it. You get to like kayak down the Chicago River downtown, which is so cool. You get to like see the buildings from a really unique point of view. And then they also have a location that's on Monroe Harbor if you want a little chiller experience that doesn't have a bunch of boat traffic and potentially dangerous situations, although we keep people out of those pretty well. That's good. But anyway, you do the tours when you did the kayaking? So I wouldn't give like the narrated tours. I would do more, they call them paddles, where it was like a lesson. Oh, cool. So I'd kind of teach people how to kayak, or if people kind of already knew, just kind of guiding them through the river if they haven't been there yet, because there's a lot of boat traffic and docks that you have to like watch out for, and so we have like a radio to like radio the captains and stuff, and just kind of help them up and down the river. I learned some tour information, so I would kind of give those to people here and there, because you always want that tip money. Yeah, that tip money? So, yes.
Yeah, so no, that was super fun, and it was weird because at the beginning of the summer I was like really scared because I'd never had such a physical job before.
That does sound
and I was like,
yeah.
I'm gonna be the weakest one there, and I'm not gonna be good at it, and I was like scared, and then just like as I did it more, I got stronger and better at it, and now I really enjoy it, and I hope that I can do it again next summer. And I actually met through that job the person that basically got me the job I have, so that worked out nicely.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now I've been there since beginning of September, so a month basically.
Nice.
And I'm doing after school care with the kids, after school like homework help, and then once a week I do a musical theater class with the elementary schoolers. We're working on, I do the theater, and then there's another teacher that does the music, because I can't read or write or do music.
Same.
So I do the theater, she does the music, and we work together, and we're working on this show that's all about like the rights of children. And it's really cool, yeah.
That sounds great.
So it's going really well.
It sounds like you got a good opportunity there to like do some work that's very positively impacting children.
Yeah, definitely. We start the
great.
class with like a message, because also these kids, the lycée tuition, it's a private school, very, very expensive for all these kids. And so a lot of these children haven't had a lot of difficult life experiences.
Yes. So you make
they're
sure
very
to make
privileged,
that happen, right?
and I torture them.
That's right. Tell them all about everyone.
But yeah,
on the train.
so we just kind of, this last week I showed them this like photography project of this guy who went around the world taking portraits of children and then pictures of where they sleep. So some of them, are homeless and don't have, like it's just a picture of like a corner on the street, and some people have like a fancy penthouse in New York. So it was like all like and everything in between. So just to kind of show them like these kids are all, around your age, and they all have vastly different experiences, but they all deserve the same chances to experience the best childhood and life that they can. So we're talking to them about that. I showed them the video that Greta Thunberg did at the speech that she gave, and they loved it. And then I met her on the train platform a few days later, which was super cool.
Whoa.
She's that awesome 16-year-old climate activist who's been like boating around the world and like traveling with like only green and slow travel.
Yes.
I don't know what the word is.
Yeah.
And I saw her waiting for the train, and I was like, Greta? Because I like didn't expect to see her in Chicago. It was so exciting. I was like starstruck. I like saw her braid, and I was like, that looks like Greta. But why would she be here? And I like went around the corner, and I was like, oh my God, that's her.
Did you feel really good that you were taking the same transportation as her?
Yeah, I mean, like she was going the opposite.
Also ecologically friendly.
Yeah, well, I did have a Starbucks cup in my hand, but here's the thing. First of all, I recycle them. Second of all, I wouldn't have met her if I didn't stop to get a coffee first.
That's a good point.
So,
which makes all of her points moot. That's awesome. I'm going to throw a link to this video. Throw it in the podcast.
Yeah. No, it's super important. Everyone needs to see it. It's very moving, and her train was arriving like as I was like, Greta, and she was like, yeah. So I was just like, thanks for your work, it's so inspiring. And then she was like, okay, getting on the train. But it was cool meeting her, and then my kids were like, wow, you met her, no way.
Wow, that is so awesome.
So I've been telling everyone that's my like cool thing that's happened to me.
I bet those kids love you. Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm so glad they have somebody like you that's not like so far above their age too, because I feel like that's really good for kids to think like, I don't have to be,
Yeah, and like the music teacher is like an adult, and I'm like a young adult, so they have like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, we're just trying to push them out of their little bubble and be like, the world is shit,
and it's huge.
And you need to fucking know it.
That's right. And just dance about it and sing about it like the rest of us. That's how we deal with it. Make jokes and art. Oh, it's the best. Nice. So it's funny, we've talked a little bit about recycling on the show. It's just come up various times. And a friend of mine, who was the guest last week, CJ, that I mentioned, he is trying a little experiment. He didn't mention it on the podcast, which is kind of cool. But I'm going to mention now. Yeah. He's trying the whole, like, really, like, no waste thing.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's
packaging and everything. Like, just we went to a store, and he was like, yeah, I can't buy, like, anything. because it's all. And I was
That's
like, I'm so
really
sorry.
hard.
I'm like loading my hands with Starburst.
That's really hard to do. I'm very like inspired by that. I mean, I'm a vegan.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yes,
and so
which is great.
I really care about the impact that we all have on the planet, and I love all animals more than all humans. And the nature and climate change sucks, and it's happening, and it sucks. So being a vegan helps me personally feel, I mean, like, I do it for a million reasons, for like personal, you know, like health reasons, for moral reasons, environmental reasons, for literally every reason.
There are so many reasons.
Yeah.
The only reason not to is I feel like what you like, and I'm not vegan, so I am going to say this from my point of view as well. Actually, you know what? I'll make it even less offensive. I'm just going to make it about me.
Yeah.
The only reason I still eat meat is, one, it's convenient right now, because we haven't made it convenient enough for vegans, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Two, taste preferences, which is a little bit selfish.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, not to shit on people who aren't vegan. And like, I have a lot, like my best friend, you know, like eats, I mean, a McDonald's burger every day.
Like evens you out.
And so
like she eats for two, for two, and you eat the rest.
Yeah, so like, basically it's just, yeah, like you don't want to let go of this like thing that you're used to, and part of it is like culture, and like I mean,
that's the
for a long
reason,
time
people make fun of it still.
For a long time I was pescatarian before I was vegetarian, because in France fish is just such a huge part of the culture.
It does have some good properties,
I couldn't, and I mean it is better for you than a lot of other kinds of meat. So for a long time I was eating fish and not other meat, but then after a while I was trying to eat fish and I would just start crying because I was like, it's alive. Yeah. And so then I just stopped. And I just feel better like about myself. Like, not like I feel better about myself, but like I feel like I can sleep at night because
yourself.
I'm not consuming.
You just don't feel better than other people. You feel better
exactly.
about yourself.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm better than others, but I feel better about myself, not having to worry about like I am contributing these negative like impacts, and I'm not eating something that poops or smiles or has feelings.
Those are my two favorite things to do.
I know.
Yeah. Oh God, and I mean, along the same topic, just yesterday I was just kind of railing on and on about pigs, about how intelligent.
They're so smart. I love all animals, and I guess what just like bothers me is that people can be like, oh, I would never eat a dog. I would never eat a cat,
and then
eat pigs and cows like it's nothing. And it's like, honestly, what makes those animals different? Like, tell me, what do you think like makes those animals different? And so that's why I kind of
that's it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like that's why, I mean, there are some cultures around the world, like particularly like developing countries, where their access to resources are limited, and they eat meat, but they're the ones killing the animal themselves, and they're using every part of it. And while I still wouldn't do that, I can respect that more because they know where their meat's coming from. They're honoring it, they're using it well, whereas you know, Americans and other like highly developed countries just go to the store and they just grab a thing of meat. They don't know where it came from. It's in plastic packaging. They don't have to think about the animal or the factory it came out of, and they're not using all parts of it. And so that's where I'm like, that's, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Definitely. And if you think about the alternatives in like some of these other countries that we're talking about, would be less healthy for the individual, for them not to get the nutrients that they need if they don't have access to it. But we have that here. We have more than
especially
enough.
If you're in a big city, it's not hard to be vegan.
No, it can't be. And I've met a lot of vegans here. Actually, somebody on my show, she had an improv group called the Improv.
Yes, you were telling me about that. That sounds fun. I want to see a show that they do.
I know, me too.
I wonder if it's like about like I don't know.
No, I think they expanded. They were doing like at least weekly shows for a year though. But I think they just moved along, which we've been talking about, you know, starting an improv group in our little IFA.
I think that would be great.
Erica, me, you, Marcus, Mick, that would be awesome. Yeah. Whoever, great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Who's not Claire?
Aaron.
Aaron. Yes. I think that every time I see him.
I can only say Aaron.
That's fantastic. Oh, you know what's interesting? And, you know, I'm going to come back with it.
All right.
Before I even say it, we're going to
Let's take a commercial break.
Yes.
Sponsor words.
Good luck. Sponsor words.
Bye.
If you suffer from insomnia, try Dream Pop, Sleepy Time Bubblegum. We've combined the flavor pink and diphenhydramine to help you get the best sleep of your life with Dream Pop.
Imagine if we did that whole thing.
Oh my God, that was sad. Okay, so
We'll pick up with the middle name.
Or pick up the middle name. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a guess.
Oh, what could it be?
Who's to say? Oh my God. Okay, Emma made a little faux pas.
Fupa.
Actually, I think that stands for something else.
A faux pas.
A fupa.
A fupa.
You know what that is?
It's like a fat upper pubic. It's like this shit right here, the fupa.
Yes. For
Yeah.
our listeners, she just
I grabbed my
grabbed it.
fupa and jiggled it.
Oh my God. Actually, I showed Corey my fupa yesterday. That sounds bad. But what had happened was my pants had been so tight.
Oh, did it leave like the imprint?
It did. What happened? Okay, this is an unimportant story.
All stories are important.
Okay, I'll give you. Yeah.
That came out like a drunk person.
All stories are good stories.
All stories are important.
We need them. So I bought these pants. They're a little too tight. They're a little too long, and I'm just very hopeful that I'll lose a little weight and grow a little taller.
Yeah, that's not how it always goes.
No. So I unbuttoned and unzipped the pants like halfway through our events of the day yesterday, Corey and I, and I look at them in the car, and I was like, okay. As my lover boy or whatever, I want to preserve some like attractiveness and your image of me. As your best friend, I want to show you something. And he's like, show me. So I lifted up my shirt and my sweater, and I showed him where there was a, it was like if you were to push Play-Doh out of a hole or a pair of jeans. It was like really weird looking.
That is what the fupa is.
Yes, that is the fupa. But my fupa was that I fucked up and didn't push play, didn't push record on the podcast for like 10 minutes. So now I am going to guess Margaux's middle name without having already done that wrong several times, and her then telling me that didn't happen. Sarcasm. So I'm going to guess. Okay, and then Margaux, I'm going to tell you your name, and then I want you to repeat it right after me.
Okay, great.
Correctly.
Yes.
I'm going to do my best. No, I'm going to do my best.
You're going to do your best.
I better.
Bitch.
I'm going to do it even so good that they can't even tell who's just starting with.
Exactly. It's going to be like, whose voice was that? She just said it twice.
Exactly. Margaux. Okay, it didn't work.
Moo. That's my middle name, is a cow mooing.
Margaux Madeleine Lantelme.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You guessed the middle name right.
Oh, yeah! That's great.
Yeah, the E at the end of my last name just throws everyone off. I'm like, just erase it and then say it like that. You know?
Oh, that's perfect.
Except don't erase it because that's my name.
Yeah, exactly. That's my extra E at the end.
It's my E to do what I want with it. I wouldn't be French if half of my name wasn't silent.
That's true. Yes. If
Anyway,
my name was silent, it'd be like Emro. I'd be short.
That's kind of fun, Emro.
Emro.
Never heard that name. Anyway, so I say it, Margaux Madeleine Lantelme. In ASMR, Margaux Madeleine Lantelme.
People are going to record that and save that for masturbatory purposes. Margaux, turning my show into something dirty. You're sexy whispering into the microphone.
It'll be their text tone, but it'll be a whisper, so they won't hear it and they'll miss all their texts.
But what if they have like a sexy emergency when their phone goes off, though? They get a text and they're like, oh!
Sexy emergency?
I'm having a sexy emergency! Quick! Find a brothel! I don't know what to do in those. We have a button at the house. You just push the button. It's like a crank. Anyway, have you ever seen the film Fight Club?
Yeah, I have.
A film fan?
I like films.
Nice.
It's funny because in growing up, I loved film. I actually got into film. I got a video camera from my grandpa for Christmas when I was like 8 or something.
Nice. That's awesome.
And so I was like really into film before I got into acting. And basically my whole life, I loved watching movies. I'd go to the movies. I remember one year I was like, I'm going to watch all the Oscar movies, and I went to the theater and I watched like 3 movies in a row, like at the movie theater by myself. Yes. I love seeing movies by myself.
Me too.
I would like do that, but honestly, in the past like 4 or 5 years, I've done so much less movie watching. Yeah. And a lot of it is like, the world is so like sad that I can't watch like dramas anymore, and I only watch stuff to escape, so I just watch comedies, and I watch a lot of the same stuff over and over because I know it's coming, and I'm like prepared. I'm like, I just need a safe space to like have Real Housewives on in the background while I like dick around on my computer or whatever.
Yeah, because life is so busy too. It's like everything has to be background. I feel like there's so many things that I'm trying to do at one time that it's like there can't be anything too important, because it's going to get ignored a little bit. Yeah.
So I haven't been as good about watching movies as I historically have been.
Historically.
Only. Yes. Herstory.
It's a female
world,
history, I guess. Yeah. Or whatever.
But, yeah, so I've seen Fight Club. I have.
Do you have...
I read the book also.
Oh, yeah, Chuck Palahniuk.
Yes.
Me as well.
The book was good.
It was
I liked
good.
it.
Do you have any quotes from the book and or movie that you, any obscure or...
Oh, I don't think I remember any quotes, but I do remember reading it, and spoiler alert to anyone who's not read it. I know it's a new release, but like, hurry up, fast forward, do whatever you need.
That's right. Also, if you watch it and you think it is a new release, don't look at Brad Pitt now. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually still hot. It's weird.
He's forever hot, basically. Yeah. But he was especially hot when he was younger.
I'm sure that's...
And like in Interview with a Vampire, he's so tasty.
Oh my god, I love that movie so much. And Kirsten Dunst, so hot in that movie.
She was the best actor in that movie, though, as like the child.
Yeah,
Tom Cruise was a crazy person.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I read the book, I remember getting towards the end, and you realize that you never knew who the narrator's name was the entire time. And I remember that being like, whoa, I like didn't realize that I didn't know this character's name until it's revealed that they're the same person at the end. I was like, as a reader, I thought that was like so cool. I just remember being like, whoa, it never occurred to me that I didn't realize his name this whole time I've been reading it.
I feel like Chuck Palahniuk is, he's very gruesome.
I've only read that book of his, I think.
And if I'm not...
But if they're all like that, they're probably pretty gruesome.
Yes. I get Chuck Palahniuk and Charles Bukowski mixed up sometimes.
Well, isn't Bukowski more poetry?
Yeah.
Or does he have, like, novels?
He does have some novels. I'll look into it, too, with the reference section. But if I'm thinking of Palahniuk with some of these Choke and... there's a couple that I've read by him. I'm so bad with titles sometimes. Like, I'll dive in and I won't even think about the title. But he's got a way of like being so out there and so ridiculous. Like some of his sentences and quotes, I just love them so much because they're so fucking ridiculous.
I remember that there was one that I like highlighted in the book, but I don't remember what it was because it's been many, many years since I've read it.
Absolutely, that's awesome. So as far as acting, and I know you said your comedy has been a recent genre fan. Do you have like comedy influences, like actors or comedians that you've like really looked up to? Or?
So like, yeah. All my life, I've always been a huge Robin Williams fan. He's my He's the king and my angel.
Yeah. My light, my love, and my lady.
Yes. Love of my life, light of my loins, fire of my loins.
Yes.
My sin, my soul. Robin Williams.
Oh gosh, we should make a shrine to him.
Honestly, so love him. Also, as far as like shows that have been an influence, I do love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh,
we've talked about
God.
this.
Yes.
I love that show. It's
and Rob
really
McElhaney is the showrunner and everything.
Well, I think all of the boys kind of wrote it together. Yeah. At least those three, not Danny DeVito, whom I also love.
Oh my God.
They're all great. It's a terribly inappropriate, terrible show, but like they do it so right.
Yes.
I love it. So I love that show.
It's our generation's like fucking show too. It's been on for so many seasons.
I know.
They started off so
They're
small.
on like 14 now.
Yes.
It's been over a decade. I love it.
Roiled into popularity. That's just
it's so good.
Unbelievable.
I watch it like every day. I've seen it so many times.
One of my
every
favorite
episode.
memories with my mom are watching that show. Yeah. Because I feel like it just opened up her world because she was fairly like more prudy.
Oh, it's certainly not a prude show.
She got into it with me. It was a good
It's
time.
great. So I love that. I also love damn, it's like you ask me and then...
Reminds me of the Santa Claus episode, because I bought costumes for me and my boyfriend bought Halloween costumes.
What are you going to be?
I'm going to be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and he's going to be an elf. There's like no Santa, there's just, it makes no sense whatsoever, but we found those.
That's funny. I'm going to be Cruella de Vil.
Ooh!
I decided. I ordered the wig, and I ordered a couple other things for it, so I'm excited.
Did you order a bunch of puppies that you're going to bring to the pound
I
after Halloween?
wish. Well, not the pound. I'd keep them.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
But I didn't.
She's going to make coats out of them. Ew!
I'm going to eat them.
She doesn't scare you. They will.
So, okay, but comedic influences.
Comedic.
Yeah. Comedic.
Like, I've dealt with those.
I'm like, okay, no. There's something that I should say that's like not coming to me. So let me just think about it for a second.
Is it the?
No, hold
we use
on.
that word a lot.
It's, okay, so like the shows, I mean, I love, so Always Sunny, Broad City is really fun, and so is Portlandia. Like, I like those styles of sketch comedy.
Yeah, I've slept on Broad City, and I need to get
It's
on
really
it.
good.
Yeah.
And there's a newer show called Los Spookies, which is in Spanish. It's so good. Have you been watching it?
No, but I fucking love that name. It's called Los Spookies?
Yeah, it's
Oh my
really
God.
good. It's on
I'm
HBO.
checking that out. It's comedy?
It's comedy,
Is
but
it
it's like really
dubbed or subtitled?
It's
or?
subtitled.
Nice.
And it's funny because whenever they do a few times, they'll talk in English and then they'll put Spanish subtitles, so it's like kind of an all-around thing. But they're
Inclusive,
really
yeah.
funny.
That's great.
It's kind of like weird and dark, but like very
I wouldn't
funny.
be surprised if that's where we headed. Like, like bilingual shows and stuff.
No,
That
it's
would
great.
Be wonderful for us as a country. We've historically not been good at
Definitely.
teaching other
No, but that
languages.
one's really good. What else? I feel like there's definitely more. I'm just not thinking of it.
Have you tried The Good Place at all?
I've not.
That's a good one.
I think my mom watched it for a little bit, but I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't watch it.
Those are spookies.
There's another. What is the other show that I've been watching? That I watched.
Schitt's Creek?
Forget it. It doesn't.
Have you heard of Seinfeld? Have you ever watched that one?
I've heard of Seinfeld. I don't care for Seinfeld.
Oh, I'm a fan of it as like I feel like it pushed us forward in comedy sitcoms in a way. I feel like
It's
it was
like a little bit
classic
before my
thing, but-
time for once.
Yeah.
So it's not like I grew up and like saw the change in comedy and like watching it now I'm just kind of like it's like about nothing.
Yes. And it's
Which
like,
I don't mind in like other things like Portlandia is not really about anything or like I don't know. There are other comedic show. I don't know.
we just missed it. It's what it feels. It's like it just wasn't.
It was
our generation.
too 80s
Yeah.
for like us who were born in the
Couldn't relate to
90s.
it,
And
even
like
when I was watching it, I was a fucking child. So it's
yeah,
like,
I don't know.
what's New York City? And I was just confused if that's where it is.
It's New York.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
God. Or maybe it's Chicago. That'd
No.
be funny.
It is, and we're like, it's definitely New York.
Thing. Yeah. Reference section.
No,
Okay.
it's New York. Because I think, I don't know. I liked Friends when I was a kid. I don't like it as much
I like
anymore.
Friends.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
It's like we've seen it a million times, and Ross Geller is like a douchebag.
I hate him.
Yeah.
We like it's so funny because I've met people that are he's their favorite. And I think
It's like, I think when I was younger, I might have liked him, but then when I realized what a fuckboy is, I was like, never mind. He is that.
yeah. And the worst kind because he acts so innocent.
That is the worst kind.
That is the
Who are like, what are you doing to me? And it's like,
I'm
you're
the victim,
doing it.
But
Yeah.
How did these things happen? We're on a break.
Slap that boy. Slap all white boys.
Yes, absolutely. I would go home and slap one later on.
Me too.
On
My
the
boyfriend, I'll slap him right up
Right
upside
up
down.
his boot. Right, no, I'm just kidding. In a nice way, though.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast, but Corey's he's got a nice butt.
Yeah.
I know the whisper it. It's the bicycling, I think.
Oh, my boyfriend bicycles too. He's got a nice.
Oh my god, it's the best.
juicy.
It's the best.
It's like plump.
It is.
Plump.
Right
Little
for
bubble.
the smacking. Oh, I'm getting excited. I'm having an emergency.
Press the button.
That's right. We're having a sexy emergency here. Call the police. No, call the firefighters. Which ones are hotter?
I'd say firefighters.
Yeah.
Because there's not like
Call our firefighters and Chippendales workers right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Speaking of your boyfriends, but
Yes.
he has a band and he performs.
Yeah.
Would you like to plug some plugging?
Yeah, sure. So he's had a lot of projects over the years. Currently, the main one is called the 8-Bit Boys, and what they do is they cover. They don't have an Instagram, but they have a Facebook with a pretty good following. So you can find them on there. They play every other Tuesday, so not this coming Tuesday, the 21 or whatever, but the 27th, I think, is the next one, Tuesday.
Perfect.
Did I do that math right? Because I just kind of threw that number out there. We can.
No.
Whatever.
Maybe.
Anyways.
I'll reference section it.
Next Tuesday, and then every other Tuesday, they do performance at Replay in Lincoln Park, which is a cool arcade bar, and they play the music to Super Smash Brothers Melee while you play the game. So like you go to the stage and they play that stage music, and then the game's over and you go to like the character selection and they like do the music like it would be in the game.
I love
so it's really cool. And they all study like jazz music, one of them classical music at DePaul, and so they're all like real musicians, awesome. Really talented. Wow. There's a bassoon, a bass, piano, trumpet, and guitar is Levi, my boyfriend, is a guitarist. And so yeah, they play the music while you play the game, and it's free. You know, you buy a drink at the bar, but like it doesn't cost to get into the bar or anything. It's so super fun, and I think they're starting to expand. They might play at a convention pretty soon and like a house competition pretty soon. But yeah, it's cool. They're fun. And it's fun. It's like no pressure. Like I'm really bad at the game, but I go every week and support and play.
Do you know what system they play on? GameCube or Nintendo? Or I guess Nintendo is GameCube, but
I think it's the N64.
Sweet.
I think.
Yes, that's the one. Is it big black with the cartridges and everything?
I think it's orange, but or maybe it's black. It's different colors. I am not as much of a nerd as these boys, so I don't know as well, and so crucify me if I'm incorrect.
No, you're good.
But I think that's what they play on. Like they bring the stuff and they have like the TV, like the big brick TV there.
That's awesome.
And so you guys play and like they're like around you and like playing the music. And it's also cool because they do it in the back of Replay, which is a pop-up bar. So it's constantly changing the theme. The first time I went, it was Bikini Bottom, and it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I like walked in, not even expecting it to be a pop-up. I walked in, Levi immediately goes to like set up, and I'm suddenly by myself, and I'm like, I'm in Bikini Bottom, and I like needed to talk to someone about it. I was like, he was like running by, like getting set up, and I was like, Levi, we're in Bikini Bottom. What are you doing? Like, take a moment. It was so cool. There was David Hasselhoff flying in the sky. There was Sandy's igloo dome. There were all of the characters out of like paper mache molds, and like there were like pink and blue lights, and there was like a giant palm tree thing, and it was so cool. Right now it's Parks and Rec, which is way less cool because it's like very realistic, whereas SpongeBob, it's literally just like picnic benches and like it's like nothing
like a
exciting
on the wall.
Exactly. Whereas Bikini Bottom, like they had sand in part of the bar, like on the ground. They had like a whole section with sand, and they had the leg guy, like my leg. They had that guy, like they had everyone that you wanted from Bikini Bottom. They had Larry, so I took a picture of living like Larry. Like it was amazing.
That is hilarious.
They should have kept it like that forever, is my personal opinion. The next one is going to be It themed for Halloween, which I'm very afraid of because I'm afraid of things.
I'm excited.
And scary things.
I'm not afraid of things.
But so every time you go, hopefully maybe every couple times, the theme is different, and it's fun.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's 8:30s at Replay in Lincoln Park.
8:30s?
There's a couple of Replay locations, so it's the Lincoln Park one.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yes. Do you are you doing any theater projects right now outside of focusing on work? That sounds like it's full time. That sounds like a.
It's not full time. My job is part time.
It's part time.
But
I said that so confidently. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
Full time in that you probably spend some time thinking about it outside.
Yeah, I have to prepare. I have to prepare things, and I'm doing this. That's basically it. I'm hoping that the conservatory, once we get that started, can kind of open some doors to other performance opportunities like around here or other areas. I've been a really bad student, and I haven't been going to see any improv.
It's been a little bit since I have.
I haven't gone to see shows or anything. We should.
That'd be great. I would love that.
It's just like I'm such a.
See the people I haven't seen.
Whenever I know I haven't seen it either. We need to see it because I want to see that one. We should do that like this week or next week or something for sure.
Yes.
Anyone else from our class that wants to?
My week is like stupid open right now because I like saved some dates for some stuff that they didn't get back to me. I am doing coached ensemble though. I found out about that. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you're ever interested in audition for that or whatever, that'd be great.
Yeah, because I never want to go back out at night. I'm like, I live in Rogers Park, and I'm like,
I just colder too. And
it gets darker and colder. And I'm like, I don't want to. And I just like I go to bed early, and I like to be in bed all day. So it's hard for me to. Yeah, but they don't do that in the morning.
I wish they would.
So
comedy and improv in the morning.
I love I just midday stuff. Matinees.
That's my nap time. I like to sleep late and go to bed early and then take a nap in the day. I'm just sleeping most of the time.
Yeah, that's what.
Like a sloth.
Yeah, it's like that's the goal.
Or a koala bear.
So, but it makes it hard to see shows.
You don't know that I don't need 20 hours of sleep a day. You don't know that.
No, we definitely do.
What I can get done in 4 hours, you wouldn't believe. Because it's so little. Why did that take her 4 hours? She ate something and pooped. That was it. That's all. So I'm so excited about doing conservatory with you. Is there, do you have any questions about, I almost said about me, but no. Fine. That just makes this all about you. No, it is. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm excited too.
Yeah. I feel like I just said a lot of things that sounded like they came from 6 different people. Insanity. So, we've come to the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Would you like to do me one last favor before we go? Before we part ways and immediately walk together to class?
Yes.
And spend the next 3 hours together. Uh-huh. I hope you're not sick of me by then. Would you say Pish Tosh Podcast 3 times fast?
Pish Tosh Podcast, Pish Tosh Podcast, Pish Tosh Podcast.
Now say it with a French accent.
The Pish Tosh Podcast.
yes. Sorry, I had to say it really fast so that you wouldn't think about it being offensive. Oh, good time. Which I guess you can say French stuff.
Yeah.
Can you? I always get confused about how.
Yeah, I'm fluent, and so I can do. Because I like have grown up bilingual and also can speak some Spanish. I've always kind of been apt at dialects and accents because like I've grown up using different speaking in different parts of my mouth and stuff just because like the 2 languages have different sounds. So I love doing accents and voices and things.
Me too. How's your southern accent?
It's pretty good because I lived in Oklahoma for quite some time, so.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Oh my gosh, duh. So your mom's in Oklahoma, your dad's in France?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're in Chicago?
Yeah.
Did they ever visit you here?
Yeah, my mom is actually going to come tomorrow.
No way!
Yeah.
Congratulations, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She's going to be here for just a day, but it'll be nice to see her.
Well, tell her I said hello.
Great.
Nice. And probably not listen to the podcast, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what all we said. There was some emergencies talked about. She might
but I don't know. Nothing too inappropriate.
Yeah, she was married to a Frenchman. So I feel like that's plenty. Okay, now she can't listen to it because I just said that. All right. No, I'm teasing. I hope that you and I have a wonderful class now.
Yeah, me too.
And thank you to our listeners for doing what they do best.
Yay. Now you know all my secrets.
That's right.
I keep whispering into this. I don't know how it's gonna come out.
Oh, we'll find out. That's always the exciting thing. Life's all about surprises.
Yeah. All right. Love you. Bye.
I like that. See you all next week.
Bye.
Alrighty, this is the part of the podcast where I make some corrections to some things that I might have said, and I also elaborate on some parts of our conversation. First of all, thank you so much, Margaux, for being on the Pish Tosh Podcast. I'm so excited. I actually start my first conservatory class starts today, just this evening. Speaking of it being Thursday and not Tuesday, I appreciate everyone's patience, and I was a bit delayed this week because I had gotten so much extra work in acting, so whoop whoop, so kind of a good reason. I think I did the math, and in like a 30-hour increment in the last couple days, including travel, I worked and traveled for 25 of 30 hours, so it was pretty intense. but it was an awesome experience. I'm glad I had it, and here we are now. Obviously, the podcast has been published because you're listening to it. Whoop whoop! I made it that far. A lot of whoop whoops today. The name Hank is short for Henry. It's also short for Harry, but it actually started out as a medieval diminutive of John. Hank is essentially developed from the name Hankin. So if you know someone named Henry or Harry, I suggest that you shorten the name to Hank and then make it a little longer into Hankin. Anyway, the day that this podcast was recorded was the day of the Chicago Marathon, and I just wanted to congratulate everyone who took that on. It was 26 miles in the busy city of Chicago, and it was an incredible thing to see. Special congratulations to my partner Corey's mother for doing the Chicago Marathon at almost 60 years old. It's freaking incredible. Way to go, Lori. Anyway, I have every reason to believe that Margaux has told the truth about her grandparents all being immigrants, as I have found no records on either side of her family from America before the 19th century. Having said that, I have not looked for any, but apparently her family comes from the Auxonne province, which is in the region of the province Alpes-Côte d'Azur. God, it sounds so much better when she says it. But this is a region in southeastern France that borders Italy and the Mediterranean Sea. It's known for its diverse landscapes from the Southern Alps and Camargue Plains. God, I'm bad at pronunciation. To rolling vineyards, olive groves, pine forests, and lavender fields, which just sounds incredibly magical. Margaux is doing a Halloween party exactly a week from today. I wanted to wish everybody a happy Halloween month. I like to celebrate the entire month of October and then all the other months because I love Halloween so much. I mentioned that I was going to be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but that has since been modified slightly. I am actually going to paste the name Maya on the front of my Rudolph costume so that I am then Maya Rudolph, while also paying tribute to one of my favorite female comedians and actresses. Belvedere is not a suburb of Chicago. It's too far away. I think it's like an hour or so. The word in French that we talked about, that's slang, is bordel. And specifically, it translates to whorehouse, but it absolutely is used as slang for like shit show, like Margaux and I talked about. Like you could say, what a stinking mess, and then in French it would be quel bordel. I don't know why I put the English words in with a French accent. But anyway, football, or in America for some reason we call it soccer. The French did win the World Cup in 2018. Whoop, 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 whoop. The men's team. And then the Women's World Cup this year in 2019 was won by the United States of America. Whoop, whoop. Yes, God, so many whoops. I'm exhausted. So that means pretty good stuff for Margaux. I mean, like, yay French, yay American women. Awesome. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is a book written by Stephen Covey, and he references what's called the Eisenhower Matrix. It's a tool that was developed by Dwight D. Eisenhower, so like a ton of time ago. He made this, and it basically talks about how you need to spend time on important things versus like urgent tasks, if and when at all possible, or like at least really try to find a balance there to maximize your productivity. Really good stuff. I definitely suggest that you look up the Eisenhower Matrix or the Time Management Matrix and research the table that they have that gives a little bit more information about how to fall into the right quadrants there. Neat stuff. Thanks, Corey. So Margaux mentioned that her time at the University of Oklahoma was not her favorite time. Fortunately, I looked into it, and the university did do a sexual misconduct investigation, and the president, David Boren, has now been fired since, and they are looking into what allegations might have been covered up during the time that he ran the school. So it looks like it's kind of turning around and going in a better direction, but I'm sorry for those students who had to deal with that at the time. That must have been horrible. On a more positive note, the Improv Express program at Second City, I learned a little bit more about that because that's what Margaux completed. It's a 3-level program, and it covers all the elements of the improvisational process. The stuff that's taught in our A through E program, except it's fast-paced, it's twice a week, and it sounds pretty freaking cool. Anyway, Margaux mentioned that she's vegan, and I thought that was really interesting. We talked about how veganism and vegetarianism is becoming more popular, and I found out that in the United States, there were 1% of the U.S. population identifying as vegan, and that's changed between 2014 and 2017 to 6%. So it's like a 600% increase according to global data, and that's maybe looks small overall, but that is truly veganism, plant-based foods only. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I looked into more general vegetarianism in the U.S. for specifically our age group, the 25 to 34-year-olds about that identify as vegan or vegetarian, and it's about 25% of Americans between that age group that are, which I thought was pretty interesting. About 375 million vegetarians worldwide. And growing. Speaking of which, I found an amazing article about animals and the different ways that they're treated. I'm going to include that article link in our description for this episode, so take a look. It's called Are Pigs as Smart as Dogs, and Does It Really Matter? By Marc Bekoff. And I've talked a little bit in the past, and I'll mention it again. There are a couple really good books on this topic. Why We Love Dogs, Eat Pigs, and Wear Cows by by Melanie Joy. And then also Some We Love, Some We Hate, Some We Eat, Why It's So Hard to Think Straight About Animals by Hal Herzog. So those are some good ones. They explore kind of basically the topic of how our species, human beings, treat other species. I would like to now go only by the name Emro. Also, I am so sorry, Margaux, for not recording. I have made so many mistakes creating this podcast, and I've learned so many lessons. That's the first time I think I've thought I had been recording for that long and was not. So, my bad. I said something about I don't see improv enough, but I did want to just mention I do see it a lot, and I am so appreciative of every show that I get to see. The most recent show I saw was on the 20th of October, and it was Corey's Level C improv performance at the Second City. It was awesome. His entire class did amazing. We talked some about some television shows and things. We talked about some hilarious ones, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Margaux mentioned Los Espookies, starring Fred Armisen, which can be found on HBO Now, on YouTube, and on Amazon Prime Video. That's what I'm going to do because it sounds hilarious. We talked about Seinfeld, and we really just kind of missed the boat on Seinfeld because it was before our time. We would have been watching it as children if we did watch it, so we wouldn't have gotten a lot of the jokes. It would have seemed boring to us as kids. Having said that, I have so much respect for that show. I have enjoyed and laughed at many an episode. Larry David is a genius, and it was filmed in New York City, of course. Of course it was. Let's see, Margaux's boyfriend has a band, the 8-Bit Boys, and you can find them on Facebook. It's super awesome, and every other Tuesday night, so yes, that means this coming Tuesday, October 29th, they will be at the Replay at Lincoln Park, and they will be doing their Super Smash Brothers event at 8:30 p.m. Replay is pretty freaking cool, and like Margaux said, they're doing that It pop-up in the back of the venue. But right now, tonight, it's Thursday, they are doing
Margaux
a
mentioned
Stephen
seeing
King
Greta
trivia night. So if you're
Thunberg here in
that
Chicago,
might
which
be
was
something you'd be
awesome.
interested
If you're not familiar, Greta Thunberg is a teenager. She's 16 years old, and she's got Asperger's, but that has not stopped her from being an amazing environmental activist. She focuses on climate change, and her campaign is known like all over the world. She led a school strike for climate change. She's just the freaking best. And the cherry on top of this Sunday is that her full name is Greta Tintin Eleonora Ernman Thunberg. One more time, that's Greta Tintin Eleonora Ernman Thunberg, which is, I think, the best name in the entire world. Speaking of like amazing, strong women, Megan Rapinoe was actually one of the women on the U.S. national team, the soccer team that won the World Cup this year, actually 2019. She was a huge champion for the ethical treatment of refugees and children. She's all about equality. And since we're wrapping it back to football, Margaux sent me the video from 2006 when the last time France won the World Cup, and it is amazing. I'm putting a link to the YouTube video in the comments or in the description of this podcast also, and it is fantastic. On an entirely different note, I did buy the DVD Fight Club just so I can refresh myself, and I have now downloaded the audiobook. So I'm going to dive back into this so I'm not completely making a fool of myself when I finally come back around and explain what the hell I'm doing with the whole Fight Club bit. I loved having Margaux on, and I wish her all the luck in the world on her writing journey. I know it's so hard to find motivation. Highly recommend reading Anne Lamont's book, Bird by Bird, that got mentioned. A quote from Bird by Bird from Anne Lamont is that she says, "I don't think you have time to waste not writing because you're afraid you won't be good enough at it." And I love that quote, but I really just want to cut it off even shorter and say, I don't think you have time to waste not writing. I want to wake up and tell myself that every day. I want Margaux to tell herself that every day too, because I cannot wait to read anything she's got to write. Also, thank you so much, Margaux, for sending me the pictures of you playing in the fountain. You look so incredibly happy. It was making me happy just seeing it in those pictures. We talked about how important it is to have a writing group or partner, how that can really help the process. And so I wanted to say thank you to CJ Darneater. He's been that person for me lately where I could send him some chapters of the book. He can send me some scripts that he's working on for classes. I did ask him also about how the No Waste campaign is going. He said that he's not perfect, and that sometimes his needs and desires directly conflict with this campaign, but he's doing the best he can. He's saving a ton of money by DIYing stuff like food and beauty products, and he said it's definitely a struggle, but my opinion, I think it's freaking awesome and it's totally worth it, and I appreciate what he's doing. I hope others follow suit. I'm kind of far from that myself right now, but I would like to try a little bit harder. Well, I think that's all I got, guys, for this week. Thanks so much for your patience again for the delay that I had this week. I cannot wait to share next week's interview with you as well. I'm going to have another IFA teammate, Marcus Strauchs. He's so funny. I'll see you guys next time.